So what is social marketing? So if you think what social really is, it's lots of people coming together to have conversations about something, a specific topic. And what brands do is they try to inject themselves into those conversations one way or another to be visible. But it's not really about your brand. Those behaviours, those conversations are taking place anyway. As a brand, all you can really do is influence, which is why the whole utility piece around brands is so important. A campaign is like a pebble in the water. It will generate ripples, but ultimately will disappear. Whereas a utility can actually keep an ongoing dialogue, an ongoing conversation over a longer period. So why is social marketing important to pharma? Well, as I've said, from a consumer standpoint, it can influence your brand, it can influence sales, all the way through to patient support. Consumers helping consumers is a massive part of social. But the content has to be valuable, which means it has to be relevant to that group, in the right language. It has to be then either innovative or shocking, or it has to have a scarcity about it. If you put out information that people don't already have, or they find interesting, or they think that by sharing it will have a halo effect on them, then that's the valuable content. So I'm going to talk through examples now about how other companies have done it, how they've done it well. So our challenge was to work with Eurostar to change perception that it's not just about trains to Paris, to talk about it on a wider scale. They do trains all over Europe. To increase traffic to their main website, engage people in bigger conversations, but most importantly, to remove a lot of the negative comments that appear when you type in Eurostar that would come into the top. And that was driven out of a lot of the past 2 years faux pas. So we did some research and we found that our audience wasn't interested in listening to campaigns in social environments. What they wanted to do was engage with something. They wanted to play with something. So what we did was we challenged them to share their lamest excuse to visit Europe. A lot of the comments within Twitter were about excuses that Eurostar were making. And so as a result of creating a campaign that's about the lamest excuse and using that keyword, what we were able to then do is start to take over the word excuse. We built a campaign, encouraged consumers to put together a video as to why they should win free travel, free trips around Europe on Eurostar. Massively successful. We had hundreds of people signing up, all producing their own little videos that were all hosted on YouTube, that were then pulled down into their site. So again, we took advantage of the networking effect, connecting all these pieces, and we allowed consumers then to also talk about their content within these different networks. And we had about 55,000 absolute unique visitors from 144 countries. Prior to that, the best social networking thing that they tried to do had generated under 10,000 people from 72 different countries. We moved Eurostar into the world's top 40 social brand list. We added over 1,000 new Facebook fans during that period. We also got additional press in terms of blogs, and we also got into London Social Media Week. So we actually got into printed press as well. And overall, every £1 spent on the campaign generated additional value of £7 when you add up all the PR and all the additional social content that was added into that. And that was for zero media spend. This is my final slide, which is a genuine post by an individual. This is posted openly. As marketers, you can never have that sort of conversation. That sort of conversation pulls people together, motivates them. The empathy that's around that, as used with a group of friends, is absolutely invaluable. That's the real power of social media, is it's genuine messages pulling people together. We as marketers, as I said, we put a veneer on things, we polish things, we make them look perfect. But as a result, they're less believable. If you can harness this type of conversation, you ultimately have a much more honest and a much more valuable message that you're putting out there to your consumers. And ultimately, that reflects on your brand.